Have you ever looked at your life and quietly wondered why you're not where you thought you'd be? Not because you failed, not because one terrible decision changed everything, but because, somehow, the future you once imagined feels a little further away each year. From the outside, everything seems normal. You go to work. You stay busy. You keep telling yourself that things will get better once you have more time, more motivation, or the right moment to change. But that moment never seems to arrive. The truth is, most futures aren't destroyed by one dramatic mistake. They're shaped by hundreds of tiny decisions that seem completely harmless. Choosing comfort instead of growth. Waiting until tomorrow. Putting yourself last. Repeating the same routines without questioning where they're leading. None of these choices feel dangerous. That's exactly why they're so powerful. Like water slowly wearing away stone. Small habits quietly shape the person you become. In this video, we'll explore 5 innocent habits that may be silently destroying your future and why recognizing them today could completely change the direction of your life. Why these habits are so dangerous. Here's what makes these habits so difficult to notice. They don't ruin your future overnight. They don't come with warning signs or dramatic consequences that force you to pay attention. Instead, they quietly become part of your daily routine. You tell yourself you're just resting today. You'll start next week. You'll make the healthier choice tomorrow. You'll finally chase that dream when life becomes less busy. Each excuse sounds reasonable on its own. That's why almost nobody questions it. But your brain doesn't judge your life by what you intend to do. It learns from what you repeatedly do. Every action you repeat strengthens a pattern. Every pattern slowly becomes a habit. And every habit eventually shapes your identity. Before you realize it, you're no longer making conscious choices. You're simply repeating yesterday, day after day, month after month, year after year. The future isn't created by the occasional big decision. It's created by the small decisions you stop noticing. That's why the 5 habits we're about to explore are so dangerous. Not because they seem destructive, but because they seem completely harmless until the consequences become impossible to ignore. Habit 1. Always choosing comfort. Think about the last time you chose the easier option instead of the better one. Maybe you skipped the workout because you were tired. Maybe you stayed home instead of trying something new. Maybe you kept doing a job you no longer enjoyed simply because it felt safe. None of these decisions seem life-changing. In fact, they often feel completely reasonable. But that's exactly how comfort quietly takes control of your future. Your brain is designed to conserve energy and avoid discomfort whenever possible. Every time you choose what's familiar, your brain rewards you with a sense of relief. The problem is that relief and growth rarely happen at the same time. The more you avoid challenges, the smaller your comfort zone becomes. Soon, opportunities that once seemed exciting begin to feel intimidating. Taking a risk feels impossible. Learning a new skill feels exhausting. Even small changes start to feel overwhelming. One comfortable day won't ruin your future. But choosing comfort every single day slowly builds a life where nothing changes. Growth almost always begins where comfort ends. If you want a different future, you must become willing to feel uncomfortable long before you see any results. Habit 2. Waiting until you feel ready. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when the timing is better? Maybe it's starting a business, learning a new skill, applying for a better job, or finally making the change you've been thinking about for years. You keep waiting for confidence to appear before you take the first step. But confidence rarely comes first. Action does. Many people believe successful people are simply more motivated. The truth is often the opposite. They begin before they feel ready. They take one small step while still feeling uncertain. Then another. And another. With every action, their confidence grows because their brain starts collecting evidence that they can handle the challenge. Waiting feels safe because it protects you from failure. But it also protects you from progress. Months become years, and opportunities quietly pass by while you're preparing for a moment that never arrives. The perfect time is usually an illusion. The people who build the future they want aren't the ones who feel ready. They're the ones who decide that starting imperfectly is better than waiting forever. Habit 3. Living on autopilot. Have you ever reached the end of the week and wondered where all your time went? The days seemed busy. You answered emails, scrolled through your phone, finished your routine. Then suddenly, another week was gone. This is what happens when life is lived on autopilot. Your brain loves routines because they save mental energy. Once a behavior becomes automatic, you stop questioning it. You wake up at the same time, take the same route, have the same conversations, spend your evenings the same way. At first, routines make life easier, but when you stop paying attention, they can also keep you stuck. Without realizing it, you're repeating yesterday instead of creating tomorrow. Years pass, yet very little changes. Not because you lack potential, but because you stopped making intentional choices. A meaningful future isn't built by simply staying busy. It's built by becoming aware of the small decisions you make every day. The moment you stop living on autopilot is the moment you begin taking control of where your life is actually going. Habit 4. Trying to make everyone happy. Most people don't realize how much of their life is shaped by other people's expectations. You say yes when you really want to say no. You stay quiet to avoid conflict. You choose the safer path because it's what everyone else expects from you. At first, these choices seem harmless. You tell yourself you're simply being kind, responsible, or easy to get along with. But over time, something begins to change. The more you organize your life around keeping everyone else comfortable, the less attention you give to your own goals. Slowly, your dreams become optional while other people's priorities become your daily routine. The hardest part is that you'll often receive praise for this behavior. People appreciate how dependable you are, how agreeable you are, how willing you are to sacrifice your own needs. But approval is not the same as fulfillment. If every important decision is based on avoiding disappointment, you'll eventually wake up living a life that feels successful to everyone except you. Your future should be guided by your values, not by other people's expectations. Habit 5. Ignoring small daily choices. If someone asked what determines your future, you might think of major decisions. Choosing a career, getting married, starting a business. But your future is shaped far more by the choices that seem too small to matter. Choosing to read instead of endlessly scrolling. Going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Taking a short walk instead of staying on the couch. Saving a little money instead of spending it impulsively. Each decision feels insignificant on its own. In fact, you probably won't notice any difference tomorrow. That's why so many people underestimate them. Your brain doesn't transform overnight. Neither does your life. Everything changes through repetition. Small choices become habits. Habits become your lifestyle. And your lifestyle eventually becomes your future. Success and failure rarely arrive in a single moment. They grow quietly through the decisions you repeat every day. If you want a better future, don't wait for one life-changing opportunity. Start paying attention to the tiny choices you make when no one is watching. Those ordinary moments are quietly deciding who you'll become years from now. If there's one thing to remember after watching this video, it's this. Your future is rarely changed by one dramatic decision. More often, it's shaped by the small habits you repeat without thinking. Choosing comfort over growth. Waiting instead of starting. Living on autopilot. Trying to please everyone. Ignoring the little choices that seem too small to matter. None of these habits look dangerous in the moment. That's why they're so easy to keep. But the good news is that the opposite is also true. Small positive habits work the same way. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, take action before you feel ready, make a decision that reflects your own values, or improve just 1% today, you're quietly building a better future. Real transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens through hundreds of ordinary decisions that slowly become the person you are. So don't wait for your life to change. Start changing the small habits that shape it. Because the future you're hoping for isn't created someday. It's being created by the choices you make today. If this video gave you a new perspective, comment the number 5 below. Let's see how many people are ready to build their future one small habit at a time.